Scene 1. The scene opens in Captain Gregory Farney's quarters in the orbital station Odyssey. Captain Farney, a cap over his eyes, sits at a table with his feet up, his mouth hanging open. An empty bottle of vodka sits by his boots. Admiral Brian Harrison, accompanied by Dr. Rebecca Stein, enters. Stein studies notes from her tablet.
And that brings us to the present. Unfortunately, there's not much left to add.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it, Dr. Stein?
Sir?
That's the exact same as the report from last month, to the letter.
Yes, sir. Progress has unfortunately stalled.
Harrison approaches Farney's desk and picks up the empty bottle.
I can't imagine why.
Oh, sir, it's best not to disturb the captain while he's...
Harrison puts up a hand, cutting her off. He takes Farney's cap off and slaps him over the head with it. Farney wakes with a start.
Son of a... Oh, Admiral.
Farney sloppily stands.
Captain Farney?
I suppose you're here about the warp drive fiasco?
No.
I see. Well, of course not, because there was no, Why are you here?
Harrison reaches into his uniform, brings out a sheet of paper, and hands it to Farney. Farney studies it. After a moment of silence, he hands it to Stein.
The wormholes?
They've more than doubled, and only manifest in orbit of a colony planet. All of them are emitting the exact same encrypted radio broadcast, all of them leading to this moon. Every single president, chancellor, pharaoh from every single colony planet is breathing down my neck for answers, none of which I can provide. So I'll ask once again, Doctor, why has the progress stalled?
Progress? Hey, Doc, check to see if the last droid has landed on the surface.
Stein opens her tablet and presses a few times on the screen.
It has, sir.
Was it able to decipher the broadcast?
No, Captain, it's the same as the others. The broadcast just fries their circuits. It's not something that should be able to happen, but still.
Just out of curiosity, how many droids have we sent now?
59, sir.
I've got hundreds of scientists on the space station, the best of the best. In orbiting this moon are space stations from every advanced colony with their best of the best. And all anyone can come up with is to send robots down to that moon. When that doesn't work, all we can think of is to keep sending more. There's nothing else I can do.
Farney, these wormholes are only popping up around planets we just established colonies on. Are you too drunk to sense a bit more urgency?
What are you implying, Admiral? You think that this is some strategic military action, some form of attack?
It's certainly beginning to seem that way, isn't it, Doctor? We don't know if this broadcast is a message or the first step of some radio-based attack. All we know is that this is the source. This is where we can either decipher the broadcast or stop it.
But, sir, these broadcasts don't match anything that we've encountered. It's too high of a frequency for anything that any technology available should be able to produce. But you're talking as if this contact is from extraterrestrial life, one that has the ability to manipulate wormholes to broadcast their signal.
I believe I am, Doctor.
We've established colonies so far out. It could be possible that we finally...
Well, Admiral, in either case, eventually I'm gonna run out of droids or booze. Can't say I'm excited for either.
Maybe we shouldn't be sending droids.
Excuse me?
You said it yourself, Admiral Harrison. These broadcasts only manifest in proximity to the colonies, but more specifically, people. Perhaps our methodology has been wrong.
Maybe you forgot the part where whatever this is fries droid circuitry. I'd hate to see what it does to a person.
What I'm saying, Captain Farney, is that I believe that the broadcast fries the circuitry because they weren't a person.
Oh, good. That's literally insane.
No, I can follow the logic. But even if you're right, Doctor, we don't know the nature of what this broadcast is. For all we know, it could be some unidentified galactic predator using this broadcast as a bait.
You're right. We don't know. And unless we try something new, we'll continue not knowing.
Just so I'm clear, the idea is to send someone down there so that whatever this is can tell us if it wants to kill us face to face.
If that's how you choose to look at it.
Well, Doc, I hate to be the glass half empty type of guy, but if I'm shooting straight here, I'm not even sure if there's a glass.
She's right, Farney.
Sir.
This broadcast manifested 5 months ago. 5 months of terrified colonists, and we have absolutely nothing new to tell them. We've run out of options and have to make new ones.
That's swell. Just swell. I suppose you'll need an away team. Let me just take a quick survey of the crew to see which ones are suicidal.
I'll go.
Rebecca.
It was my idea. What kind of scientist would I be if I wasn't testing my hypothesis?
I'll accompany you, Doctor.
Sir, if I knew this was the last time I'd ever see you, I would have dressed up.
Have some goddamn decorum for 1 second, Farney. If whatever is said in the broadcast means us well, then the doctor will do her job and be done with it. If they don't, then I will do mine.
You got it, sir. You'll put a bullet right in that space anomaly. You two do not get it. That moon has an EM field that will fry any transport we send down. That's why we send droids. Droids can survive a crash landing. An award-winning scientist and a Grand Admiral, not so much.
That's an excellent point, Captain. We'll need a pilot that'll be able to glide a dead stick shuttle through the storm and land us safely on the moon's surface. There would have to be an incredible one to pull that off. Now, who was that ace pilot that broke nearly every record at the Academy?
Permission to speak freely, sir?
Of course.
You're a real son of a bitch.
Scene 2. The three sit in the transport ship's cockpit.
Any last minute doubts?
That depends. Have you sobered up, Captain?
If I say no, can we go home?
Right in time for the court-martial, yes.
Barney presses the ignition button on the dashboard. The transport hums to life and lifts. When given radio clearance, Farney pushes forward on the stick, flying out of the hangar bay and towards the moon.
We're away. Once we hit that storm layer in the lower atmosphere, the EM field will knock out our power. That's when things will get interesting.
Did everyone contact their loved ones in case?
In case we die?
Yes, Captain. In case we die.
I did, sir.
Who did you contact?
My mother. She's on the colony established on Gliese 667C. She's trying to establish a farm for herself. But the crops have such a hard time. The atmosphere is still so different, you know.
What all did you say?
Well, I told her what I was doing, that there was a chance that I wasn't coming back.
What did she say to that?
She said that I was stupid. Of course, I was going to make it back. My family is a family of survivors, she reminded me. And, of course, she reminded me that if I didn't make it back and I died before giving her grandchildren, that she would never forgive me. And you, sir, who did you contact?
My ex-wife on Sarton 5.
Your ex-wife, sir?
There were some things I've always meant to say that I just couldn't before. Some apologies. Mostly apologies. I devoted my life to the colonies, and she needed a man who would devote his life to her. I was just sorry that I couldn't have been that man.
Harrison taps Farney on the shoulder.
What about you, Captain? Who'd you contact?
There's no one to contact.
But of course there is. What about your wife?
Wife? Captain, I didn't know you had a wife.
My wife and son, June and Teddy. He looked more like his mom, thank God. She was a fabricator, one of the best. But more than that, she was the best singer I've ever heard. I mean it. She just had to sing a few bars of Imagine, and Teddy was out like a rock. He didn't stand a chance. They died. Explosion. Mining accident, they told me. Wiped out the whole colony. Made it look like we never even put a single brick down on the planet. I was away, of course, delivering antimatter to the new colony on Grask. I promised Teddy that that the next time I'd bring him.
Greg, I didn't know.
That's why I volunteered for this job, Harrison. Farthest moon away from, We've spent so much time and resources getting out here. You know, the only thing we've really found out? How big it all is, how small we all are. We invented a warp drive to leave the solar system. A trip that would have taken hundreds of years can now be done in a week. So, still can't leave the galaxy, still can't find the end of the universe. Now we'll just die on some other rock under a different sun. And the joke of it all? I know that I'm still scared shitless of dying.
Me too, Captain. Me too. There are just some things that scare me more.
Stein's tablet begins to beep. She taps it and reads the notification. She turns to Farney.
Captain, if the broadcast keeps up this routine, another burst will emit in the next 10 minutes. It's time to land.
Of course it is. Everyone grab onto something and don't let go.
Harrison and Stein latch onto the arms of their seats as Farney takes the transport into a plunge. The three scream as they enter freefall. A chaotic crash, and the ship's power returns. Their hair and attire disheveled. They are out of breath.
Holy shit, you did it! Which, of course, I knew you would.
Scene 3. The crew walk through the desolate terrain of the Mystery Moon. Stein observes her tablet.
It's strange. There's no vegetation on this moon, yet there's oxygen.
Like, can't pinpoint its source. The broadcast, however, it's coming from that spire.
How much time left?
Within the next few. My tablet's power is gone. We have no contact with the station.
Hello.
The three immediately snap their gaze to the voice. The Admiral puts a hand over his pistol's holster. A woman in a long blue dress appears out of thin air in front of the three.
You are Admiral Brian Harrison, Dr. Rebecca Stein, and Captain Gregory Farney.
The three turn to each other, then back to the woman.
You received my
God.
message.
I think you're onto something with your alien theory, Admiral.
Forgive my intrusion, but I hope to speak in a way more suited to your perceptions. Your perceptions are so influenced by individual experiences.
Stein musters the courage and takes a step forward.
You're the one who was sending out the broadcasts?
I am.
And you speak English?
English is what you hear, yes.
But not what you're speaking?
To call it speaking would be incorrect. Humans, unlike others whom I have met with, have so many perceptual filters that I must overcome. How you see and hear me is the only way you can.
That is to say, your true form is...
Beyond your perception.
Harrison takes a step forward.
You say that we received your message, but what we received was a riddle. You put unintelligible broadcasts over planets that I and my counterparts have direct jurisdiction over, and I need to know why.
I sent you a message, one that I desperately wanted you to hear.
What I'm telling you is that we did not, that we could not.
But you did. I spoke to you the way that you needed to be spoken to, with a challenge. It was how you explored your own world, and then how you explored the stars. I have been speaking to you since the beginning. I whispered to you in the great chaotic sea and urged you to walk. I sang to you on land and urged you to fly. You stumbled every step of the way, as every being I have guided has. But at long last, you heard my broadcast. You are here. I'm confusing you further.
The way that you're speaking, it's as if you're taking credit for our origins, like some sort of...
No. Let's not go that far. At best, this is some alien that's spinning what we want to hear.
Captain.
You'll have to forgive me, Doc, but too much has happened, and none of it lends any evidence to some divine creator.
You are referring to the deaths of your wife and son.
Don't.
I have felt your anger, Captain Farney, as well as your sorrow. But moreover, I have felt your fear. You fear that their deaths were meaningless, that they died for nothing.
The woman approaches Farney, who takes a step back.
You're just some alien. The first one we've met, but
He looks deeply into her eyes. He is paralyzed. Harrison goes for his gun, but before he can pull it, the woman embraces Farney.
I see the grand movements of the cosmos, and I can promise you, Captain Farney, their deaths mattered. Each beginning, each end, and everything in between. It matters, it all does.
She lets Farney go and wipes the tears from his eyes.
The communications that you've described until this point have been very subtle. This direct contact, why now?
Everything I did to shape you for what was to come. But eventually, I needed to refrain from intervention and merely observe. I helped to shape you, but it was you who needed to shape where to go from there.
What are the chances that you'll give us a direct answer?
What your people call the warp drive, Admiral. A unified, planet-wide effort. When you unified, your species was able to finally take the steps it needed to venture outward. And look, within a paltry few years, you've already ventured further than even I could have imagined. Once those colonies are further established, you'll use them to launch and establish more. You've heard the broadcast. You are here. Check your tablet, Dr. Rebecca Stein.
Stein looks down to see that her tablet has powered on. She looks to her two counterparts and then taps on her screen.
It's from the orbital station. They're saying thousands of unidentified craft have entered the moon's orbit. Alien craft, sir.
Yes, they've all come.
Harrison walks towards the woman.
You keep saying the broadcast is a message. What is the message?
Welcome home.
Michael Fox, Kelly Fox, Aaron Grant, Jeremy Evil, written and directed by Philip O. Laughlin. That's the broadcast.